Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and to be invited by Monica to speak at this conference here. I hope I can share my experience, and I hope that's something you can take it from it. One organizational thing, I was told to stand here all the time, but I want to be closer to you, so I'll see how do I manage that. And I have called my presentation Courage to Live. And I would like to say that courage has given me so much. I have gone through the obstacles. Courage have helped me to find the solutions. Courage has helped me not to be afraid of the new things in my life. And I will start with my personal story. Here in the picture, I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, 2020, after the first wave of COVID. I was in Caribbean, and there were no flights to come back to Lithuania, and I thought, how do I get there? And one morning, suddenly I see like 20 messages from my friends in Caribbean and saying, look, there is a Norwegian guy who needs crew to sail from Caribbean to Baltic Sea. Would you like to ask him if he would take you to the crew? Well, of course, I sent a message immediately, and after one day, no answer, second day, no answer, okay, that's chance lost. And then after 3 days, he said, okay, I want you to be on my crew. And I said, do you know anything about me? I just checked on Facebook, it's okay. So he collected a team of 5 people, hired a captain, and we started preparing to sail. It took a week to quarantine on the boat. We bought food for $3,000, loaded the boat for 2 months to sail across the Atlantic Ocean to Baltic Sea. And we were ready, and one day was announced, okay, we sail out, the fair winds are on our road, and we started. And all was good, the weather was perfect in Caribbean, it's warm, the wind was good, and on the 3rd day in the morning, we suddenly hear terrible noise on the hull of the boat. Terrible, and we all jumped. The noise was that it's breaking in 2 parts and sinking. The idea was in my head. And we suddenly ran to the deck and talked to each other what's happening. The captain went to dive under the boat to see what's there. And there was one detail, very important detail, which got loose, which covers the 2 engines in the front of the boat, which maneuvers the boat. So it was clapping the hull so much that we thought, oh my God. And then it took probably half of the day to decide what we do. We called the technicians of the production company. We called someone else, and we were like in the middle of the ocean waiting for the answer, what should we do? Because the water is not coming in, but it was an important part of the hull, and 24 hours passed, and I get a message through satellite from my brother. And he's saying, are you okay? We see you for 24 hours in the same place. Are you not in the bottom of the ocean? Okay, and the satellite, of course, is very expensive, but the owner says, call him, tell that we are okay. And then we got a message from the manufacturer of the boat. He did not allow us to sail across the ocean, and we had to go back. If you will ask me if I was not afraid, I was very much afraid. But here I will start going further. In my presentation, I will walk you through from my career, from the childhood to where I am now. And in this picture, I'm with my little brother and sister is here actually. At that time, I was 7 years old, and I was a very shy child. I was very conservative, but I was having very nice examples from my parents. My both parents were teachers, physics and mathematics, so all our apartment was full of scientific books. There was no empty place. And I also saw how much we worked. We worked 12 hours a day. My mom was leaving very early, and she was leaving a note for 3 of us. What should we eat? She was baking 3 different types of pancakes. And when my mother was on the conferences, my father knew how to do my hair. And now, it's 40 years after I'm representing Lithuania at the international conference at the Service Share Center in Warsaw with representatives from all Lithuania, and in the other picture, chairing the conference of automation in the Budapest. And it took me 27 years to go through my career. How did I start it? So I went to university as all normal people. I finished economics, and then I wanted to travel. I wanted to travel after we broke from the Soviet Union. Everybody wanted to travel, and I applied for internship. Was lucky to get it, and I got to the Rotterdam to ISEC International Economists Organization, and I met all this bunch of people from Africa, Asia, South America, North America, and Europe, and we were so different. At that time, I could understand English mostly 50% of what we were saying. I didn't know nothing about accounting standards, and I have not ever gone through the accounting procedures. I have never used any accounting system. So what I did, I really had to survive. I was alone, first time without parents, somewhere in the globe. My mom was calling me and she was saying, "You are so small in such a big globe. Okay, what do I do?" So I found my way. I looked at the accounting system, what my predecessors were doing. I looked at the transactions and I copied them. I tried to learn the logics, what was done before, and understand what should I do with those accounting transactions. And after 1.5 years, I was totally new person. I learned different cultures. I improved my English language. I understood about the accounting. And what I would like to say is that why I was not afraid, and now I'm not afraid of many things, is because when you see yourself after doing something, you are here. And before then, you was here. It's such a big difference if you complete something and you have the courage to complete that. And also, it's not painful. I have realized whenever I was failing, I was standing up and going forward, so it's really not painful. Now, after coming back from the Rotterdam, I was so cool, I had international experience, and I went to the Central Bank of Lithuania, where I worked before leaving to Rotterdam, to my boss, former boss of the department. At that time, it was allowed to smoke in the rooms. I was like looking through the smoke, where is he sitting? And I had courage to say, now I have international experience, I have learned this and this. I would like to come back to your organization because I really like to work here. And he says, no, you have left. There's no place for you. Okay. And then, so it was not difficult to take that no, because I knew I was worth doing something, I was worth for a good job, I was worth because I did my part. And then very soon I became a manager. When I was 24, I was already a chief accountant, and I was going through the career until the crisis came. This picture I took last week in Paris. Behind you can see there is a Eiffel Tower. So she was making a picture with the balloons. It looked so cool to me. And then it reminded me myself in 2008, in the face of the crisis. So I was working for a big insurance company as a finance director, and the management decided to cut the cost. So first we cut the management roles. And suddenly some colleagues had to leave the job. I was still there. So besides my department of 20 people, I have got another department of 70. So in total, I had 90 people. I thought, wow, cool opportunities. I'm growing. So what do I do now? And I was asked to cut cost more. okay, it's first time, how do I do that? So somehow I did. I had courage also to do redundant several people, unfortunately, but I was going further. In another half of the year, my manager comes and says, you know, we need to cut more. And I would like to suggest that we reduce your salary by 30%. Okay, and you see probably the numbers of the unemployment. The one interesting fact that the men's unemployment grew much faster. I haven't looked why, but maybe the women were willing to take any job, so that's something interesting. And then I thought I shouldn't take decision right now. I should think properly. I think one day, second day, and I'm seeing that my decision in my head is not changing. And I'm coming and say, no, thank you. I'm leaving because I know I can earn my salary and I can find a job I really like, and I left. But now when I think back, I don't know whether it was a good decision. It was very brave, as you can understand at that time. And then later on, I took a very challenging role at Kesko Senukai in Kaunas. I was driving every day. My friends warned me, you know, we have such a bad culture. Everybody knows that. But at the end, I had a very nice experience. The experience was there, and a very nice team who helped me to grow further. If I would have stayed, I don't know, probably we would have overcome the crisis, and who knows. But that was my decision, like looking at this girl. Now, without the successes, I could not avoid also the failures. And for a decade, I worked for the service share centers owned by American big corporations. And once I was new at the organization, and the whole my team of 80 people were new, and we found a huge error in the accounting. And that error was done 5 years ago by some other team, and the error was huge. And I was so proud I found the error. And reported to the US the headquarters, you know, we found the error, now we are gonna fix, and the team is new, they were so knowledgeable to find this. And I see their faces at a total shock, thinking how big loss is that mistake. And they said, okay, now you need to really find out who did the mistake, how did it happen. And it took 2-3 months, we were not able. The mistake happened in the old systems, the systems were redundant, the people who worked with the systems were not in the organization. I tried to find by myself and together with my team. And we were not successful. At the end, I have lost the job. And what I have learned, not asking for help. I was new at the organization, and I thought I can do everything, but I was not able to do that. There were colleagues who worked for a long time, who knew a lot about the systems and everything in the company. I could have gone, I could have asked. So what I would like probably to share from the story, have courage to ask if you don't know how to do. And at that time, I really didn't know how to deal with that error. And the funny fact, probably that after some years, another huge mistake happened within my team. One of the employees, when transferring the funds to a vendor, instead of several $100,000, so just because of the mistyping, we transferred several $1 million. And okay, so I was not proud at all. All the controls, procedures also failed in that case. And then I'm calling New York saying, you know, we did this. And because it was a public company, it was a huge escalation. And I was able to explain, actually. And my manager said, you need to fire that employee. The managers, you know, it cannot be like that. You know, they are bad employees. And what I was able to do, I was able to defend those employees. Because if you have the manual work, there is an opportunity of 5% of the error, always. And if we don't automate the process, there will be another opportunity of the error. And I was able to keep the employees. So as a manager, what I would like to say to you, if you do a mistake, don't be afraid to acknowledge it, to learn from it, and to go forward. Nothing will happen. And what I would like to give you also a couple of tips, maybe some practical tips. In my career, I have finished a few master's degrees. I think that is helpful to have a few complementary disciplines. I know that in biotech industry, there are a lot of disciplines, and if you have a couple of them, you can expand your area of responsibilities. So I have finished finance and then tax law, and then, of course, I could do much broader jobs. Mentors. I have had two mentors, very important ones. One was international CFO of the organization. He helped me to grow as a leader, to understand how organization works, to understand how the decisions are being made. In the huge corporations, there are so many people, and we need to align their opinions to one goal, and really, there are so many different opinions. And another mentor I had in the Women Leadership Association very recently this year. And I actually was in the transition from my previous role at Vinted, where I wanted to grow to a C-level. It's actually very difficult to make that move from the second role in the organization to the first role. So she was guiding me through that. And it was very helpful with the international universities. So going for the live full-time courses, it's very expensive and might not be affordable, not always might be affordable. However, there are very good online courses which you could check for different disciplines, and you may try Harvard, Oxford, INSEAD, the ones that I really like. And now what I did else, you see this list of the organizations. I was looking for new opportunities a lot. I was willing to learn. If I was not growing, I was looking for a new opportunity. So all those industries that Monica has mentioned, yes, I have gone through all of them. And probably one other thing, being international. I have led the team in Manila. I have been working with the headquarters in New York, or Washington, Vancouver. So that helped me a lot to understand different cultures. Therefore, I really admire that here in the hall we also have different people from different countries. What does it mean to move from one industry to another? If you are in a certain role, there might be not so many differences if you do a certain role. However, you need to understand the industry. You need to have specific skill set. You need probably to know what are your competitors, how to sell your products. So it takes time to learn. And talking, why did I go from a huge organization, from leading huge teams to a small team? There is no secret at all. In the big organizations, you have a big role, you have a big team. However, your role is limited to a certain area. You can create, you can do something, but still, you are responsible for this, and that's it. At the small company which grows and where you are a leader of the company, there is so much place to create. You need to think, how do you develop your product? Where are your markets? Where are your competitors? Where do you go? How do you hire your team? How do you develop your team? It's so broad, it's so much exciting. And now, biotech, I thought, okay, what do I do now here? It's totally different discipline. I really hated biology and chemistry at my school, so here you go, I'm here. I know how many disciplines are here, also medicine, information technologies, and so many of them. So yes, it is difficult. I need to learn new things, I need to read books, I need to meet people, I need to have courage to ask questions. I need the courage to show that, I don't know, and, admit that I don't know a lot. There is I'm learning a lot from my team, and I'm happy that I have very strong team, and I think one of the key successes for the company is the team. It's not only the CEO or the founder, it's a whole team who helps to grow. A few things a little bit outside of my career, just to encourage and women and men. We did, at the Women Leadership Association, we did a few researches. Why sometimes people do not choose to study sciences. And one of the things happened that they found out that the children and the parents, they really like the word scientist. And it sounds very nice, but not many children choose to be scientists. And UK researchers did research at the schools, and it was very interesting what they found out. People think that scientist is somewhere here, you know, scientist, and nobody knows what he does. No one can understand and how the scientist is related to the normal life. For example, the hairdresser or the cashier, you know, the hairdresser cuts my hair and the cashier takes the money when I check out at the shop. So what does the scientist do? And the advice was actually to present more to the children and also at universities, what does it mean to be a scientist, what they do. So for example, bioinformatics, what we do a research, we help the research teams to understand the biomedical data and then understand what are the causes of the disease, and this is how we are very close to the human beings. So helping to explain that would really help people to choose scientists' path. One other thing, encouragement to the girls. Swedish university did a research why sometimes girls do not choose also science, and the reason they discovered it was a bit different. So, and that's because of some stereotype thinking. So when we are at schools, the teachers behave a little bit differently with us and with the boys. If the boys break the window, that's okay, it's a boy. If the boy runs away from the class, it's a boy, you know, that can happen. However, from the girls, it's expected that they are nice, they give good answers, they prepare their homework, and that they really get high marks. So what it does, so it actually discourages the girls from trying, from experimenting. In the experimentation, you fail. 50% you probably fail, 50% you find out something. And in the science, there are two main skill sets, logic thinking and experimentation. And if the girls are discouraged from experimentation, they don't want to choose that. So keep this in mind. If you have your own children, bear this in mind and treat them differently. So that would maybe help. A little bit about myself and personality. Besides the career, I always had my adventure soul. I'm a big fan of any water sports. The more farther I go to the sea, the more happy I am. What I would like to say to you, do everything outside the work that helps you to be strong, to be very always fresh in the morning, to encourage others by being strong, and also be very, clear-minded. It's also kind of meditation. Whatever it is, it's a football, yoga, running, do everything that makes you strong. And now I'm at VUGENE, and I'm very glad to be here. Why? And why I'm glad to be here? Because I really trust that we can achieve a lot. Very important is to trust what you can do at your organization. I especially trust the team because we have collected a very incredible team with skill set, with very different skill sets from whom I can learn, from whom can learn our clients. And also the sector is very interesting. So as we are providing services in a kind of very narrow area, but we have a very good niche. As being bioinformaticians, we analyze the medical data where the researchers can find out why the difficult diseases like brain disorders, cancer are happening, what are the root causes. We also analyze longevity. And I think the biggest driver for me to be in this industry to help the people to be more healthy, to be them more happy, to live much longer. And I will end where I have started. Very important thing in your life that someone trusts you. And I met Juozas, the founder of VUGENE, at the sailing race in Trakai a couple of years ago. And we were just sailing around and really didn't have any work conversation until this winter when he asked, I heard you are in finance and big organizations. Can you help me with some tax issue? And I tried to help, but I really didn't have the knowledge. But in a couple of months, he said, I see a big potential to grow. Would you help me with growing the organization? And I thought, wow, that's a great opportunity. I really would like to have it. And here I'm in a new journey. I will try to learn, I will try to be successful. I'm first time in CEO role, so it's a lot of effort and courage needed. And if you will ask me if I was not afraid to change so many times, to be in a new place so many times, yes, I was. But that small courage feeling always helped me to drive forward, to find the solutions, and to be brave. Thank you so much for listening.